I am an accountant, a finance executive. I've worked in the pharmaceutical and animal health industry in Indiana for the last 10 years. And I will be your moderator today, and I am part of the group that organized this event for you. We have with us Sophia Shakil. She's an educator, an entrepreneur, academic with academic roots in psychology and health informatics. She's the president of the Indiana chapter of PACPAC, which is the Pakistan American Public Affairs Committee. Thank you, Sophia, for your leadership in making this event happen. Sophia's right hand in arranging this event is her husband, Dr. Shakil Ahmed. Shakil is a board certified physician with a focus on critical care medicine. He actively participates in multiple charitable and advocacy initiatives for democracy and civil liberties. Our final team member, who unfortunately could not be here with us today, is Shakil Khan. He is an IT professional, holds a master's degree in computer software engineering, and he has served his community in the greater Indianapolis, Pakistani American community in multiple ways over the years. Our subject today at its core is democracy and the rule of law. Pakistan may seem like a faraway land, and what happens there may feel not so relevant for us here in the United States. Why should Indiana's lawmakers be interested in what is happening in Pakistan? Well, firstly, because your constituents are concerned about it. We have a growing and vibrant community of Pakistanis here in Indiana. Among your neighbors are many doctors, engineers, bankers, entrepreneurs, IT professionals, academics, doctors. Did I say doctors? Yeah, we talk a lot of doctors. And secondly, because all of us believe in democracy and fundamental human rights, civil liberties, they're God-given universal rights that every human being is entitled to anywhere. Those rights of the Pakistani people have been systematically and literally stripped away over the past nearly 3 years since the democratically elected government of former Prime Minister Imran Khan was overthrown in April 2022. Since then, Pakistan has seen a stolen election, the weaponization of the criminal justice system against political opposition, a massacre of pro-democracy protesters in the capital, Islamabad, and a complete takeover of the judiciary by a military-backed puppet regime with army generals, including the Chief of Army Staff, General Asim Munir, holding absolute power behind the scenes. We would like to thank Representatives Gobert and Becky Cash, Senator Fadi Padura, and all other representatives and senators who engaged with us over the past several weeks and encouraged and supported us to hold this seminar here today. We have two amazing speakers with us via Zoom. They will be making their presentation to educate us in more detail about what transpired and hopefully shed some light on what state legislators may be able to do in supporting their Pakistani American constituents here in Indiana. We are delighted to have Wajahat Saeed Khan and Hussain Nadeem with us. Thank you both, Wajahat and Hussain, for joining us. We will start with Hussain. We will now invite Professor Hussain Nadeem. He's a professorial lecturer at the Elliott School of International Affairs at the George Washington University. He works at the intersection of artificial intelligence, policy, and national security. He's a Maurice R. Greenberg World Fellow at Yale University and is credited with pioneering the use of data analytics and digital technologies to transform the policy sector with evidence-based decisions that serve the public good. What do you say?
Thank you so much. Thank you all plus like media certainly virtually though always pleasure sharing the place, right? So I'm going to take the next 10 minutes to do things. One, I'm going to do this like encouraging and the second thing of explain for things that we can do in support of democracy and rights in Pakistan. I hope everybody can get the person. So basically, this right, Pakistan situation is a good state. It is as close to becoming the most Korea as it is not truly independent. Whereas this is used Pakistan's 1776 and we go to the modern age that we last year elections. When you know that it is given, there has been a huge debate in the Muslim world, the place like Pakistan, where they is not if the particular develops whether there should be a system for Pakistan besides the very study by 40 million people one voice about and that we will see that as a viable political influence. Unfortunately, as we speak, right, we have a election for the last year with the security rate either the AI is they must have probably just extremely high, even despite the fact that they just right now, we don't feel like the political dynasties and constant political treatment as unprecedented level of violence in this country. We just need in the United States. The interesting part is that this has a lot to do with the United States foreign policy. Pakistan, especially the Biden era policy, not just in that. This the US government or like it was about this later after also got the details there. And for decades, the sector the US governments have used, I mean, this way they have continued to sponsor and influence very many political and military regimes in Pakistan. More military coups in Pakistan's history and the figure of democracy has really existed in the country. The current mess that we speak of is also part and parcel related to that. The US government, for instance, in the last 15, 20 years have funded about over $15 billion in Pakistan. The United States, especially in part of my academic work in the book that is related to the United States part of the Pakistan, which amounts to over $8 billion and projects which is what is that it was even 50 that year projects like $20 million SBC project and SBC Street Parties project. Then we had a couple of other projects about $60 million in months. And then it was this dollars in the parties in the US government will be part of very specific political and military and its corruption in Pakistan and also its part of the Pakistan political structures and the sort of democracy and the will of the people. Now, this situation has persisted for too long, and now it is at a boiling point. And the governance structures have practically collapsed. The economy is broken. If we have a country of 40 million people with a nuclear arsenal which is under everything. So in this situation, it is unprecedented that the loss of divided community for 2 years comes to be permanent and sponsor the regime in Pakistan that now looks more like North Korea. And growing ages with the most part of the Chinese war than anything else, which is compared to which was covered in interest rate was that president also wrote his son bonds. The Indians representatives for Pakistan. So that's very 2 minutes of that. That's straightforward. States the snacks as well in their part. That is under my overseas in countries like Pakistan. Where they already rich as I said, issues and the topics of speaking next speak. Like to say, is the right difference between sort of secretary of state market. If you want to defense, you're the CIA first. You just want to see how Pakistan and the restoration of the democracy is really very big start with now the second I think like the one other thing that we is to see the facts Hey, let me just do it. You just do it. Are you talking? You want me to? Why don't you just do it? You know more about this than I do.
I was going to talk at the very end. I was going to talk at the very end.
Yeah, we got copies of it.
Yeah.
Steps forward real quick, and I think this might have
So, so there's a fact that might find which type I have.
Thank you very much, Hussein. Representative Yukam, would you, before we get to you, Wajahat, we have a representative here, Representative Yukam. Sorry. Yep. Sorry, before we get to you, Wajahat, thank you very much, Hussein, for your presentation. Before we get to Wajahat, we have Representative Yukam here who's joined us, and we would like to invite him to say a few words. Please. Sir?
Test one, two, three. First of all, I want to say welcome to Indiana. I don't know how familiar you are with Indiana, great state. It's very open to you all. Pakistan, both of you here, hopefully in the future, increased relations with you all. I am new. My fellow legislators here know a lot more than I do. And say probably tell you a lot more. I want to say thank you for coming to Indiana. Great state, great future. We are open to new investments on the greatest states I've been to the United States as far as pro-business, pro-growth, and we welcome innovative people and innovative business to come here to Indiana to create new opportunities for all. I want to say welcome to Indiana. Hopefully, I can know more in the future. We're all going to make their hobby. So I'm saying welcome to Indiana. Anything I can do for you, please let us.
All right, thank you very much. We will move on with the rest of our program. I would like to introduce our next speaker. Our second speaker is Wajahat Saeed Khan. Wajahat is an Emmy-nominated journalist and author. He reports on Indo-Pacific security with a focus on South Asia. He is an adjunct professor at New York University's Center of Global Affairs and a graduate of the Columbia University School of Journalism and the University of Michigan. He is Pakistan's only Shorenstein Fellow from Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government. Wajahat, thank you very much for being with us. Over to you.
My name is Wajahat Saeed Khan. I'm very excited about making this presentation to the representative of the great state of Indiana on the Hoosiers. When I was a younger man, and I cherish those communities from your great state. During the political conflicts in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and India, three countries on the still have something friends have two decades. And like everything that was described, the Pakistan is in a quantum phase. Hussein is way more sophisticated than I am. I'm more academic, just a simple journalist. My take is simple as well. Pakistan is in the of like to call it 40 years. It's going through multiple crises in its security sector, its economic sector, its climate sector, and most critically, in its legal, democratic, and human sectors. Studying the democratic rights specifically as basic freedoms over the last 2 decades, I've seen thousands killed in my country, including dozens of fellow journalists. My country certainly also some of the world's bravest journalists, and also been a top 10 A-list in the Committee to Protect Journalists Most Dangerous Countries list from 2014 to this very moment. The only other South Asian country that gives us from money when it comes to killing journalists is Afghanistan. That's the indices that we have challenged by the basis victims, especially for the last 2 years. And this is a very difficult moment for me as well. I cannot see this whole in Pakistan. Most forums are not available. Shut down. In fact, I can't be in Pakistan. my country, as I was born in, and that we have reported widely for from. I was coming up from Metro. I eventually was home as city. My passport has been used. My ID card has been cancelled. Nothing in my life. Yeah, of course, I'm not being displaced outside my country because the way Pakistan is managed, especially the current dispensation of leadership and responsibility, this current dispensation of leadership and so-called democratic region that has right. I made this case. It's a difficult case, but I made this case with a heavy heart. The U.S. Congress just last week that I'm making a case against targeted sanctions, not sanctions that hurt 250 million people of Pakistan, many of whom starve and struggle under the poverty line. Those are very top. This country's been 2 billion deficit taxes on leadership. As this Congress is the exchange starts its new term under this new administration in Washington, you must be aware that you all have a critical part to play for many of the 1.2 million Pakistani Americans in your constituencies who are active about this day's movements like Emma, for example. Our leaders are doing their best here, but they don't have any counterparts back home. And back home is essential because there is the promise and potential of those people, keep people like us going. See, awareness is powerful. This nomination should be that America's lack of action around aggression, such as blatant election rigging, mass arrests, internet shutdowns, abductions, and assassination of journalists and civil rights leaders, excuse me, and the incarceration of leaders like Imran Khan, but not limited to Imran Khan, has been interpreted by the Pakistani military regime as a green light from Washington and even a state like India. This lack of action broadly endangers not just Pakistanis here, but also the friends, the relatives, the businesses, and the freedoms of the 1.2 million Pakistani Americans through what is now called officially by the State Department and even the FBI as transnational repression. This wave of repression runs from the boonies of Pakistan to the boondocks of a place like Balochistan, where I'm from, and right here in New York City, where friends and family and colleagues and myself have been through. Now, whether it's just, I don't know, and I know that this legislation a little to with the foreign policy mechanisms of, I don't know, the Reagan administration, or the Bush administration, or even the Biden and the Trump administration. But other than a nine consequence of Pakistan, specifically in this moment, on this unprecedented and well-documented human rights crisis for the past 2 years, has incentivized the regime back home to really crack down pretty much every day. The greatest example we had last November, November 26th, 2024, as the college football season was wrapping up. We had rainbows from Michigan and even rainbows from Indiana. Students, lawyers, activists, and even women and children demanding justice and freedom on the streets of Pakistan and Stanford, and yet many of them were gunned down in broad daylight and then in the dark of the night when the cameras lights were turned off, the country's internet was turned off. And one US publication, at least one, called it a premeditated massacre by Pakistan security forces. So, Pakistan, people like me, people like Hussein, people like Panama, have done to pulse back home on the ones. My colleagues or friends, they don't have the freedom to anything. They don't have the freedom to vote. Several freedom to report, the freedom to meet even their missing relatives have been abducted in the last decade and a half, at least 5 to 7,000 activists, lawyers, just general civil society elements have gone missing from behind I keep on feeling this unease. I keep on experiencing, but I don't want to get too much inside. I guess the Ross system, many of the administration has used, I'm not, I'm really not, it's done, but I've asked by the ministry. Now, that might be fine. The military may be a partner, and someone like me of the same couldn't be. But I must remind reliable partner. This military has led to contradictory policy in Afghanistan, where comedians in New York City now joke that $2 trillion is supposed to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. This military has given you some of the world fighting in its very absence. This military has given you things. Has taken what President Donald Trump claims is $33 billion in the last decade and a half and given you nothing but lies. This is now. What can you do? You can do what you do best. You can legislate, you can ask questions, you can force Washington to think and rethink its stand. This is a critical. He's concentrated on Ukraine and his first phase and his first month. And we know that Afghanistan is also a critical issue of national security, which is how the rights of Pakistani Americans are being recorded and threatened specifically by bridging there and body. The only thing that effectively be done about transnational question, this big legislation is to get the administration and the applications to the agency of this administration involved in effective investigations, specifically with the purpose of pointing down and perhaps even sanctioning those who are behind it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bajan, for your words. Very insightful, as usual. So thank you. We have some of our esteemed representatives here who are joining us, and we would like to give them the stage to share their thoughts and views. I see Representative Betty Cash is back there. I know she has a 12:30 caucus, so I'm gonna let her go first before I invite Representative Obed.
Okay.
Betty. Oh, yeah. You're rushed.
I could be late.
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm going to try to talk loud enough to drown them out. And I have 6 children, so I know how to talk loud. So thank you so much for coming out here today. I hope this will not be the first time that you come or the last time that you come. You're welcome here anytime. This is your state house. And as I was just sharing back there, if any of you have high school age students, we have a PAGE program. And so they can actually come and spend a day here at the State House. They'll actually be with peers their own age. They'll get to tour. They'll get to learn about the legislative process. So make sure you talk with your legislator about that, and they'll connect you with how to do that. So thankfully, this isn't the first time that I have spent time with the Pakistani American community. So I know Fahim and his wife very well. I represent an area that many of your community live within, and I've just been really blessed to get to know them in their own home and then come out here. Sadly, I think it was in December when the memorial service took place. So I did make some notes, and if you'll indulge me, I will just read those things. So I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone involved in organizing this seminar and for providing valuable insights on the issues that deeply resonate with the Pakistani American Hoosiers. Over the years, I have had the privilege of getting to know many community members and professionals from the Pakistani American community here in Central Indiana who make significant contributions to our great state as members of the community and professionals. In addition, over the last year, I have personally gotten to know some beautiful families in our area, and I know that the values that you hold are in line with the values that my family holds. Like everyone here, I am a staunch believer in the principles of democracy and the rule of law. The fundamental freedoms enshrined in our Bill of Rights should be as accessible. Oh, sorry, should be as accessible to the people of Pakistan as they are to Americans. Myself, my family, and many of my colleagues condemn any effort to strip these fundamental freedoms away from the people of Pakistan. The people of Pakistan must be able to choose their leaders freely. There are too many credible reports of election fraud, egregious human rights abuses, and alarming democratic decline to be ignored in Pakistan. I was present when a group of Pakistan Americans, Hoosiers, gathered on the south lawn of the Capitol on a bitterly cold December. Some of you were out there. It was like 5 degrees outside, maybe even lower than that, to protest the tragic massacres that were taking place in Pakistan and from what I understand are still taking place. When pro-democracy demonstrations were met with violence, including live ammunition resulting in numerous deaths and injuries, I firmly believe in the right to peaceful protest and freedom of expression. The emotions of pain and frustration among those gathered on that cold morning were palpable, and my heartfelt condolences go out to those who lost loved ones. Imran Khan, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, who I understand is still in prison, along with many of his party leaders and members, are currently political prisoners in the Pakistani jails. Both the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention and Amnesty International have determined that his detention is unjust and politically motivated. Several U.S. lawmakers, including Congressman Joe Wilson of South Carolina and Congressman August Fugger of Texas, have called for his release. I stand with them in advocating for the release and the restoration of democracy in Pakistan. I'll continue to support you guys in any way that I can, and I look forward to continuing to get to know your community. And I just feel very blessed to have the Pakistani American community within my House District 25 in Brownsburg, Whitestown, Zionsville, and parts of Lebanon. And please continue to be here at the State House and be a presence in anything I can do for you. And I know that Representative Gobert is going to speak to you also, and him and his father have been incredible supporters of yours. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Representative Cash. I will invite, without further ado, to Representative Gobert. Hey.
Well, good afternoon. I'm excited to see you all here. I spoke with your group probably just a few months ago, and I know the question came up, how can you become more involved? And that's to have your voice heard. And this is the first step of making sure that your voice is heard. I was happy to help facilitate and provide the information on how you can organize this. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm not sure I'm as loud as Becky was, but I'm going to try. But my background, I do have a Purdue University undergraduate degree in financial consulting. I went on to receive a master's in business management from Tilburg University, and I think I saw Harvard in your background of your screen down there. I also have a master's in finance from Harvard University. But I say all that, probably what's most important to you all today is, though, part of my background is I had an uncle that was Pakistani American. And I think everybody was shocked when I shared that before, but that's why this is near and dear to my heart. This is the fight for freedom. This is the fight for democracy. I'm glad to see you guys are here. I'm glad to see you voicing your voices and making sure that everyone hears the message, because we have to continue to fight for freedom and democracy. As Representative Cash said, my father is Congressman Jim Baird. He serves on Foreign Affairs. He is very aware of this and sympathetic to the issue, and nothing is more important to him than fighting for freedom and democracy. So with that, thank you for being here.
Thanks. Very much. We also have with us Senator Fadil Padura, who's a longtime friend of the Pakistani community here in Indiana. Senator, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Welcome to the People's House. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Welcome to the People's House. My name is Fadi. I'm originally from Palestine, and frequently people confuse me to be from Pakistan. And I tell them I'm honored to be an honorary Pakistani citizen. So I feel at home, so I appreciate it. The second thing I would say when I was invited to this meeting today, I remember when we were in the Zoom call, I jokingly said, I said, I will not show up unless you have some good Pakistani food. Where's the samosas and where's the biryani and all of that stuff? And I forgot that today is Ramadan. So, you know, we'll hold you accountable for better food for next time. Well, welcome to the People's House to the state of Indiana. Again, my name is Fad and I serve in the Indiana State Senate. Honored to serve our community. Today's meeting is extremely important because the idea and the issue of democracy is a sacred idea that protects humanity, whether it is in the United States or in Pakistan. Wherever we go, every citizen needs to be protected under the law and treated as an equal citizen, not under military rule. And what we're witnessing in Pakistan is the erosion of democracy through the actions of the military. And I will personally oppose these the same way that I would oppose it if it was happening in the United States, where the role of the legislative body and free elections and protecting people from the oppression of being jailed for speaking their mind and representing their parties and their people, and for the voters to be able to speak their minds. So I commend you for taking the initiative to educate legislators in the state of Indiana. And I urge you to continue to work with your federal representative because we know that foreign policy is heavily influenced by the United States Congress and by the office of the President of the United States. So this is your people's house. We look forward to learning from you, to working with you, to standing with you. And I'm hopeful that we will be able to make policy changes on a national level to bring peace, prosperity, and democracy to every zip code in the United States and to every nation across the globe. So thank you. May God bless you. And I wish you a very meaningful Ramadan, inshallah. Sign.
Thank you very much, Senator Padura. We have one last speaker here, Mr. Richard Bagsby is here with us. I'd like to come up and say a few words, please.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have 8 children, so I know how to get my message across. My name is Richard Bagsby. I'm here with my wife, Sarah Bagsby. We have been fighting for the freedoms of people in Indiana for about 4 years now. I was a candidate, still am a candidate right now. What two guests were talking about is near and dear to my heart. When you have a rogue government and rogue elected officials, the people suffer. No matter where it is across this great country or in other countries as well. But because of the resiliency of people like us who's willing to stand up and fight the machine, fight those who wish to have lordship over us, I believe the enemy will never conquer us, and we will continue to be conquerors. Like I said, I appreciate you having me, having my wife as well. I'm a dear friend to Becky Cash, and God willing, by this time next year, I will be able to not only fight for your community, but also the communities back home, and also be an advocate for the freedoms all across this world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. We have a number of members of the community here who have joined us. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. It's really very important and very heartening to see how many of you turned up. this issue of democracy, rule of law, and fundamental rights in Pakistan is very near and dear to our hearts. And it is absolutely incredible to see you all here. We have time for some questions. If anybody has any questions for our speakers, please go ahead and ask those questions now. We are going to I'm going to have to repeat your questions because we have, as you know, used up the microphone that we had to turn up the volume here a little bit. So if anybody has any questions, please.
Since Prime Minister Khan's arrest, has there been a rise in attacks by groups associated with TTP or Baluchistan separatists? And has that affected the stability of the country?
Great question. Thank you. So the question, guys, was since the Prime Minister Imran Khan's arrest, has there been a rise in attacks by TTP or Balochistan separatists, and how has that affected life in Pakistan? Rajat, would you like to take that one?
Sure, unless Hussain wants to answer it as well. Yes, there has been to use Hussain's term, a quantum leap in terms of the security problems in Pakistan. Firstly, Pakistan has at least two and a half, as I like to call them, insurgency brewing. In the largest province in Balochistan, there is a separatist insurgency run by Baloch insurgents, which is now officially the longest running insurgency in Pakistan's history. It started in the mid 2000s. And in fact, just as we were preparing for this briefing, there has been another attack, a suicide attack, back in the middle of Balochistan, which is rare because that hasn't been the modus operandi. The fact that Baloch insurgent groups are now deploying suicide bombers, but even more importantly, are now recruiting women from Pakistan's urban educated classes, makes this a strange insurgency even for the region. Insurgents, whether in Afghanistan or India, Bangladesh or Pakistan or Sri Lanka, insurgents usually come from either very religiously or very poverty-stricken elements of society. These are middle-class, educated, university-going recruits who are now joining what has increasingly become an educated, middle-class, student-driven and middle-class-driven insurgency in Balochistan. But just a few hundred miles northwards, there's another insurgency going, which is directly correlated to Khan's departure. Now, Mr. Khan was right on many things, long as due to be was right on many things. That's the most correct prophecy he made. And he's been making this, he's been saying this for almost 2 decades, is that there is no military solution to Afghanistan. Now, he said this at a time when Bush was in power, he said it when Obama was in power, he said it when Trump 1.0 was in power, he said it during the Biden administration. Effectively, Mr. Khan's soon saying that this insurgency would only be resolved politically was taken to task by the previous administration and the one before that. And as history has proven this correct, it takes only political solutions to get the US out of Afghanistan. However, other than that, investments that he gave were not needed to. Pakistan's national security elites have not engaged in meaningful dialogue or have not had a clear kinetic plan of action against militant elements related to the Taliban. Today, there are approximately 6 to 8,000 armed, many of them armed with NATO weapons left behind by the US. Another aspect Mr. Khan has warned about regarding the pullout. And they have merged with other elements as well. There are at least 30 different freelance groups dominated by the TTP. And then incident which have seen a triple-digit rise, not double, triple-digit rise since Mr. Khan left office, making just this last month February, one of the darkest months in Pakistan's last decade in the war against terror, with record military and record citizens killed killed by terrorist elements in increasing battles. So increasing fatalities is one thing. But then most importantly, as I said, there's 2.5 insurgencies. Right? The half insurgency is ISIS. ISIS in Middle Eastern chapter was mostly shut down by local and American forces, but many of them were allowed to go in this neck of the woods. And ISIS has its own plans currently, attacking both elements in Afghanistan and, as we recently saw, in Kora Fateh in Pakistan, where they attacked a man who was allegedly the rector, the dean of the University of Jihad, the biggest madrasa in Pakistan. I could go on and on, but let's be assured there's a very simple correlation between instability and the rise of terrorism. Khan's removal has triggered a lack of trust in the populations in the border areas for the military. Now, we know if you've ever spent, if anybody in this Congress, anybody of your friends or loved ones has ever served in uniform, chances are they've been deployed to Afghanistan or Iraq in the last decade and a half. You know that you cannot fight an insurgency or you cannot conduct counter-terror operations without people on the ground supporting you. Ironically, the Pakistan army has little support from Pakistanis currently. That's why it finds itself involved in an insurgency which is now the longest in its history as well as the deadliest, because its people hate it, its people mistrust it, its people fear it, and as far as counter-insurgency doctrine is concerned, that will continue till the army wins their trust.
Thank you, Jahad. Sam, would you like to add some comments to that question?
Ajahn, I think has comprehensively explained the entire thing. Just one add on top. What we are seeing right now is not the state undergoing collapse. The state has already collapsed. We're seeing the symptoms of these collapse coming out. So the state that has declared war on its own people, be it in Balochistan, be it in Waziristan, be it in Punjab, what we're seeing and witnessing right now, the increase in growth, is the exact same growth in terrorism or insurgency that we witnessed during General Musharraf's era. And despite the fact that after that era, there was the weak democracy or the military intervention of the democracy, we start seeing the slide of these attacks. But now, because we're back again into the military rule, the ecosystem is entirely based on centralized power and structure. What we witnessed again, and we will continue to witness this, is a complete deterioration of the state in two provinces, which are Balochistan and KPL, also same in Punjab, also KPL in the state right now. So we'll see increasing trend towards this.
Thank you. Yes, unfortunate truth. Any other questions from the audience? All right. Sounds like it looks like we don't have any questions. Any other questions? So we will wrap up with our thanks again to Representative Hobert, Representative Becky Cash, Senator Fadi, Richard, all of our organizers who worked so hard to make this happen, and to our speakers, Jahad Saeed Khan and Professor Hussain Nadeem, and to each and every one of you who came to participate and to listen to their presentations. With that, we'll sign off. Thank you very much.
Thank you to everyone at the Royal stage. Thanks, Emma, for doing this. Thanks, Sam, who is going to debate this with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Office.
I'll say this for the record as a Midwesterner. Go blue to all of you. Take care.
We'll argue about that another time. Thank you. Goodbye.
That's a very democratic argument to that. You take care. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
That's something.